Welcome back to another edition of Her Love and His Peace. And today we have a very interesting show for you. We're going to give you our thoughts on recent podcasts by Forbidden Knowledge Podcast Network. The brother Billy Carson, who is the host and curator over at Forbidden Knowledge Podcast Network. He does a lot of informational videos about human history uh, with the alternative view, and he backs up what he says with written facts, artifacts, and things of that nature. Whether or not the scientific community agrees with him or not, I believe it's important information for you to check out. Um, but you have to open your mind to the possibility. Um, and that's where a lot of people go wrong with that type of information. It either goes super left to they can't get out of what they've been brought up to believe in uh, religion and with how human history is so-called written now, or it goes to the other side of being super conspiracy theories and things of that nature. Right. So I believe his information kind of bridges that gap into the possibility of what's really real about human history.
Mhm.
But the podcast episode that we both listened to was dealing more with the relationship aspects of male female relationships. He had a young lady on there, Khadijah Camp. The title of that podcast was Why Modern Day Women Are Losing Good Men.
Correct.
Very interesting podcast that day. What we're going to do today is give you our takeaways from it and some of our background and what we thought, positive, negative, or whatever. When it started off and the young lady was talking, the kind of the first half of it,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of kind of so about what she was saying. Not saying that she was wrong, not saying that she was right. It was just that I didn't necessarily identify with some of the things. All right. So that doesn't make
Okay.
them right or wrong. It's just that I couldn't identify with it. Right.
Okay.
That was because my dating history in dealing with people wasn't really expansive like that.
Okay.
So I didn't really deal with a lot of that in the first half of what she was talking about. But then when I went back to go check the second half of the video, because I stopped at midway, she hit a point that really, ah, now I got you.
Okay.
I track
I can relate
exactly,
to this.
relate to what you're saying. I know where it fits into the dynamics of dating life or relationship life, and I could identify with it wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get to that, why don't you kind of explain your thoughts on the video?
Okay. With my thoughts on the video, I could relate to the first half of, actually, I could relate through pretty much the whole video, seeing that she was really kind of speaking to women about things we as women do to possibly force or push away a good man. Um, like some of the notes I took on it was like, in the beginning, they asked what was one of the most common things that a woman does and she does it, she stated it as saying knowingly and unknowingly is one of the common mistakes we have is the entitlement. And sometimes I feel a lot of women feel we are or we should be entitled to certain kind of treatment or things should be done our way and all of that. I don't I've never felt entitled. I've always been appreciative, so I kind of understood where she was coming from because I have seen it, but I haven't been one of those ones that felt entitled because. And she talked on, I mean, she had a lot of good points. So are we going to go ahead and talk? You want me to just go ahead and tell you everything I felt about this video?
Go ahead and run it.
Go ahead and run it.
Because she
Oh,
was talking really to women. So I'll chime in on where I thought uh, it kind of hit home for me.
okay. So, and I may not go in the order she went. I'm just going as my notes is because at the time I got a chance to listen to it, I was multitasking. I wasn't multitasking. I was switching. I was task switching. So here we go. A common mistake we make far as entitlement, it was also not showing affection. You know, how we don't we need to show a man that we want him just as well as he show us that he wants us. So it's like we should be able to come and let him know, let him show him how we want him. It's like you can express how, hey, I like you and I want to be with you. Whereas in us women, we just feel, okay, he want to be with us, so I don't have to show him that same type of affection. And she feel that's not true. We as women should also um show affection. So I'm gonna stop there for just for a second. So because I want to ask you,
Mhm.
between the two of us, do you feel as though I may show any type of affection that I really want to be with you? Or can you tell that I really want to be with you? I put it like that.
It's for me, it's more action based
Okay.
versus affection based,
Okay.
and that's only because we've been interacting for um, a good minute here. So
It has been.
knowing me, I don't necessarily need the hardcore, or I shouldn't say hardcore, the outwardly affection more so than I need the action,
Okay.
right? And that's just because I'm seasoned.
Yes.
Now, when you're younger, a lot of times younger people don't know what the fuck they need.
Mm-hmm.
They may say they need this, and next week that changed,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Well, it's not all young people. You
you
got
got
some
right. You
some
got
older ones
older
that
people that don't know what it is that they really need. They think they need this, and then it changes, and it can change based off of what the person, the affection that the person, type of affection the person is giving. You're like, well, I really don't need that from you like that. And so those things will kind of switch up, you know. But speaking for us, everything is very action based, which versus, a more outwardly, like if you're out and about, you don't have to be pawing all over and this, that, and the other, and by,
correct.
those types of things, they're cool, but not really, not something that I need. But there are people who really desire that, or that they need that reassurance or reaffirm. So it comes down to the communication base of knowing what your partner needs.
Yeah.
And being attentive to that type of situation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's really what that comes down to. So when she said that, I was like, okay, I could see that, but
Mm-hmm.
I think too they were relating it to the point of where when your relationship goes dead, your affection goes cold.
Yeah.
It's just part of a dead relationship,
Yeah.
or a dying relationship, I should say.
Yeah.
Your affection goes cold. You don't want to see that person. You cringe when that motherfucker calls your name. you know. So
Now, do you think sometime the affection starts going cold before the relationship starts going cold, or is the reason the affection is going slow or cold is because somebody won't out of this relationship, or
I don't
you
I
just
don't think
falling
it's a
apart?
natural. Yeah, I don't think one comes before the other, or back and forth. I
But
think it's just whatever the dynamics is playing in that relationship. You know, the relationship could be going cold, and therefore the affection goes cold behind it,
mm-hmm.
or the affection can go cold, and therefore the relationship starts to go south. I don't think there's a one-to-one correlation to where you could say one happens before the other. I think they're interchangeable.
Okay, yeah, because I would say that it can happen vice versa, because sometimes the affection go cold, which causes the relationship to go cold, because when you're in a relationship and you're used to affection and all of a sudden um a person stops giving you the affection, and to me that's when you need to start communicating or asking questions like, hey, what's going on? Because it could be a number of reasons why the affection is going cold. It could be you're dealing with your own personal issues. It could be health. It could be finance, or it could be family. But, because all of those play a role in your life. So it's like if you're having real strong issues that's causing, and it's not that you're doing it on purpose, and sometimes you may not even realize that you're not showing affection like you used to. But then for me, I feel like if I feel your affection is starting to go cold, I'm gonna come and ask you. And if we supposed to be in this relationship together, I don't think the answer should be, oh no, this ain't got nothing to do with you. I'll handle it. But it's affecting us. So I think you correct me if I'm wrong. I feel we should be able to talk about it because it may be something I can actually help you with, and we can get back to where we were. But what do you think? Do you think that's a communication issue where we need to talk about it and say, hey,
That is a communication issue. I think this is where a lot of things go wrong in a number of relationships. I can't say all.
mm-hmm,
The thing of effective communication.
mm-hmm,
And because people are, regardless, if you're on this earth, you're always in you should be in a constant stage of learning and understanding about yourself.
yes,
A lot of times people get so buried into this one mindset that, especially they get older and they're not changing, they're not looking to change, and they're just set in their ways. To me, that's the worst thing you can do, because now when new things come arise in a relationship,
mm-hmm,
and it doesn't even matter what the relationship is. It could be parent, child, you know, friends, whatever.
mm-hmm,
When you can't communicate effectively, things go south.
yes,
So then, effective communication involves being direct to the point. yes, you're mindful of people's feelings, and a lot of people are so mindful of people's feelings they just won't say nothing,
Right.
right? And that's not good either,
It's
right?
not.
So you have to you take into account with people's feelings, but you got to get to the meat and potatoes of what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's not, no one can help the situation if you don't get down to the brass tacks of what's wrong. Not the kind
Exactly.
of sort of stuff, not the mind reading stuff, not the well, you should have known stuff. No, no, no,
No.
no, no. So that is a communications problem in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be overcome, even even to the point to where you're not showing the affection because really you just don't want to be in the relationship no more. And you're not saying nothing because you don't want to hurt that person's feelings of this, that, and the other.
Right.
At some point, you got to say something, you know, to at least acknowledge whether or not there's a chance of redemption in the relationship or not.
Right.
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 And that too is part of the problem, you know. And I think at some point, everybody has kind of felt that way in a relationship. The real proof is how you handled it. Did you
Mm-hmm.
communicate it effectively, or did you just act funny and then the shit just went away? Now,
Yeah.
you know, that type of thing happens, you know. And like I said, it affects not just male female relationships, it affects relationships.
Right. That's true. That's true. So that was one of the things she did talk about is sometimes we as women can be poor communicators, and we expect, as you said, we expect the man to be the mind reader, and or oh well, he should know, if he say he know me, he should know what's going on. No, that's not true, and I can agree with her on that. We have to learn how to be able to express anything, because like I've told you a few times, there was some things that I wouldn't say to you because it wasn't that I was afraid. I was just like, oh no, that's not a ladylike conversation. And when I finally did talk to you, you was like, that's crazy. You human. We all human. So it's like there is something, and for you, for us to be in a relationship. So if I couldn't even talk to you about simple things like that, that's going on with my health or my body or whatever, because I feel you a man, but I'm in this relationship with you. And once we talked about it, I did, and at the end, I felt kind of stupid. Like, okay, you was suffering health wise, whatever, and not talking to him, and he had no clue to what's going on with you, and for what reason? Because I was a poor communicator. So now I've gotten better. Now there's no holds bar. I can tell you anything. You're like, hey, I got this issue. I got this issue. And blah blah blah.
Well,
It's just
part
constantly rolling. Blah 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 blah. Blah. So,
right.
but
Part of people get this thing to where they don't want to be a turnoff,
right.
right? They either don't want to divulge certain things because they're embarrassed, or they they don't want to be a turnoff and have the other person run for the hills, you know,
Yes.
saying, oh, this person is too weird, or they're bizarre, this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna have that younger in life,
Yeah.
because younger in life you're judged on everything from your looks to your shoes you wear, the how much money you have. You know, you have all these judgment zones when you're younger. And also we're brought up to play these games
Mm-hmm.
that way, you know. uh,
Mm-hmm.
males are brought up to play these sucker games, what are called pea brain syndrome. You know,
Okay.
they're raised to be pea brains.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with males are is that most of them don't get out of the pea brain syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can have a man that's 50 years old and still trying to act like he's 20,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's all
Right.
he knows,
Right.
right? That's all he knows. And that kind of behavior is all he knows. So he
Right.
never matured in his behavior towards relationships
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with those things, right? And that's where all that comes from. And yeah, there's some things that you're going to take to your grave with you, and you should, right? Not everything needs to be divulged, but simple things like what we're talking about, right? Those are daily life function things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And and my thing is too is that we live with too many fucking hangups as it is.
Yeah.
And part of those hangups is what's causing a lot of our communication issues,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
It's okay to be a little silly. It's okay to let yourself let your hair down and be, you know, I let my hair down all the time, you know, and just be yourself, right?
Right.
But it's just like communicating on wherever you get this platform, right?
Yes.
We would be a lot more popular if I didn't cuss as much, right?
Right. But
Because
then
the
that's not you.
algorithm, exactly. Then I lose the whole appeal of what's really me being unhinged, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being what the whole podcast is supposed to be about, having my say, regardless of what the view count is, regardless of what the algorithm says. I'm having my say on the airways, right?
Right.
So a lot of people are stuck in this realm of trying to be so perfect that it hinders their communication
Correct.
until some tragedy strikes or the thing is going south. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, that shit ain't no big issue. Just, you know, well, I feel so dumb, or I feel so silly, or I feel, we all feel silly and dumb. Fuck it.
Yeah,
So the way life is.
we all have them moments. We
Yeah, we
do.
all have moments like that, you know.
Yeah. Then she also talked about women have issues with expressing their emotions. Now, for me, I'm an emotional person. I could, the smallest little thing, I could be watching a Hallmark movie and start crying. I'm just emotional. I could be, some days I tend to be real emotional. And do I feel I express them with you. And a lot of times I'm not real emotional around you because we're always having a good time. I mean, there's been times to where my emotions have got the best of me when I'm with you, but there was no shame in it for me. Um I was able to tell you why I was emotional. And regardless to big or small, and sometimes, it's like you've expressed once before, a blue day. When you having a blue day, sometimes I have an emotional day to where I could be crying and feeling like crying and I don't know why. And it's like, I don't know. And if I knew, I would tell you. But there's times to where I can sit and cry, and I don't know what I'm crying for. But I guess it's just something that my body needs to release that emotion and it happens. But you haven't experienced that one of those days with me yet to where I just sit and just out of nowhere tears start flowing and no, I'm
Well,
not crazy, but it's just but I what she was saying is women just have a hard time expressing emotions.
well, there that can be taken a couple of different ways. I don't I don't know if that's a thing of where some women um, just don't want to communicate really what's going on with them because of, you know, they're feeling some kind of way about something, and all of a sudden it kind of hit back at that moment. Everybody has those kind of moments to where you look back at something and you're like, damn, you know,
Yeah.
and sometimes you may cry about it, and sometimes you may be angry about it, and sometimes you may be just like, that was some fucked up shit, you know. It just,
Yeah.
and then you move on from that moment,
Right.
right?
Right.
And while it's not healthy, because in moments like that you're re-victimizing yourself,
Yes.
right? While it's not healthy, it happens, and it happens
Correct.
to a lot of people I know, right?
Yeah.
The thing is how you deal about it. And if it's happening, and I'm not talking about just a overcome with emotional moment where there's nothing there and you're just, you know, crying out of just having some emotional moments there, because that could be the menopause too, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? That's different than you're having these emotional moments and they're about something that was in the past or something that was, you know, long ago, and now these things are creeping up more often, then that's cause for something else. You need to take a pause and maybe seek out some therapy, um, to kind of get to the root of why this thing is reoccurring like it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two different roads of travel there. You know, everybody can just become emotional about maybe just things that's going on in life, and they're overjoyed with something, or, you know, something that was momentarily something sad and you thought about it and you keep it moving, you know.
Right.
It happens. Or just, you
Right.
know, overcome with uh the crying and anything. Once I inquire, yo, what's going on, and you say nothing, then nothing it is. But if it's more often where I'm catching the pattern, no, that's more than nothing, you know.
Right.
So, you know, that part of it, you know, sometimes when people are just quiet in a relationship and they don't say nothing. Oh, what's on your mind? What's going on? Nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Some people are naturally quiet, you know,
Yeah.
but that thing is always ticking on something.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
some honestly, I must tell you, some days I feel like I have too much on my mind that I be telling you. Because every time I talk to you, feel like it's something wrong, something going on up there, and it's like, you don't have to tell them everything, but it's like, yeah, I do. I do. I feel it's a good way of communicating with you because that way you ain't getting blindsided by something that's going on, and all of a sudden it hit, and you're like, well, why you didn't tell me about this? I didn't think it was that important. So I don't have a problem now. And I can admit at one point I did have a problem with communicating, and I know I did because I did seek out therapy. I've been to
Mm.
therapy before, and what I learned about myself was instead of me expressing how I feel, far as if somebody does something to disappoint me, or something's going wrong and I just can't communicate it. What I do, I start building the wall. And as I start building that wall, resentment comes in to where eventually I start disliking this person or that person or whoever I need to communicate with about whatever's going on. And I never thought about it like that until I was in therapy. And so they's like, you have to learn to, whatever, good, bad, or indifferent, say what's on your mind, or you will start building that wall. And that person don't know you're building this wall. And then all of a sudden, you don't like this person no more. You don't want to deal with this person no more because you have a wall there and they don't know the wall is there. I'm like,
Yeah, and I've seen that. I've seen you kind of do that because you don't want to express, one thing or another. And I think that's too about, again, sparing people the embarrassment of how that's going to come across, right?
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
that's sometimes when I say, you know, I'm funny acting, right? I know
yeah.
I'm funny acting. Sometimes I want to fuck with motherfuckers, and sometimes I don't,
I
right?
think that's why we get along so well.
Well, and two, and it doesn't mean that those people are bad people. It doesn't even mean that they're doing something to me, right?
Correct. Right.
It's truly internally within me. I just ain't feeling it.
Right. Right.
I just ain't feeling it. Not feeling up to people, not feeling. I know that's how I am. I've been that way all my life. You know,
Yeah.
I ain't got the energy today to be dealing with motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
So and it happens. It's part of the cycle that I run. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm feeling like people, and sometimes,
No. I've witnessed that with you.
yeah,
It wasn't me, but I witnessed that with you. Like, I ain't trying to be bothered today. I'm like,
right,
okay.
right. And I'll be honest. Soon enough, you're gonna get your feel. You're gonna be like, you ain't feeling me today.
Well, and
And
not
I'll be
not
like,
being funny or anything, but
uh,
yeah, I can. That's why you. That's the reason why there's more rooms than one. So we don't always have to be in the same room together. So.
right. And it and what people don't, especially when you're in direct relationship like that, same house type of situation, right? You can't take
Mm-hmm.
that personal. You know, you
Yeah.
can't take that, oh, my relationship's done. Or the person don't love me no more. You can't take that way, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
everybody needs space from everybody. Everybody needs a break. Grown people need a break from each other. And for those people that say they don't, hey, more power to you. You
I
know,
agree.
more
I
power to
agree.
you. You know,
And
but
and that's why we're
yeah,
grateful for jobs because that gives you that break between like, okay, or that's the good thing for malls. Thank God for malls and online shopping because online shopping, hey, no, I'm on Amazon right now.
AI is going to take care of all of this.
Long as they don't touch Amazon, we good.
They've already touched Amazon. What are you talking
It's
about?
like if I don't want to be bothered with you, hey, can you go get my box and bring it in for me? I will do that much. I don't want to be bothered, but can you bring my box in? She talked about uh relationships far as if you think you're going to be in a relationship and possibly get into marriage, what you need to talk about is your past. I don't want to say relationships, but you could also, far as you got to open up about your childhood. How was your household? Did you have a mom and dad? Was you bullied by a parent, a sibling, a relative, another relative, or were you just ever bullied in life? Were you ever touched the wrong way by somebody in the family? It could have been anybody in the family, your mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, uncle, whoever. Um, and then talk about how was your relationship with your parents and with your siblings, and it's just pretty much overall your upbringing is something because where she was saying how some people don't realize different things that happen to you during childhood or teenagehood, and sometimes even early adulthood, something could happen to you. If you're going to be involved into a long committed relationship, and it may not be marriage, you just may be with each other forever. But if you're going into marriage, she says she feel that's something that not just women on that point, because that went from both ways. There men or women, because now you have little boys that get touched the wrong way or get bullied, and so that's something that you should talk about, because she said as you become an adult and you haven't talked to anybody about it, you haven't told the your significant other anything about it, it can cause a problem in your relationship when it does come out, because what happened is you have all this built up anger or built up resentment, and that person can go, your significant other can go and do something to you that brings back that memory, and now all hell done broke loose, because it's like, okay, what now, now you got them pushing away from you or just having some type of reaction towards you and you don't know why, or they angry at you and you don't know why, because now they're having flashbacks of something that happened that you have no idea that it happened, and that could cause arguments, fights, whatever, and if you're married, divorce, because you don't know, you had no clue that you triggered that memory that you knew nothing of. So she's like, that's one good thing. You should always open up about your childhood, adult, teenage years, early college years. And you know, I I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that.
Well, the thing about it is that uh, she was saying you can't. She said you can't love a woman past her pain, but you can't. It's a two-way street. You can't
That is
love a
correct.
person past their pain, uh, even though I've done it. I know people have done it on both male and female. Um, there's part of my problem too is that we tend to get too much into the one versus other argument when both sexes are affected equally. That is something you can't do is love a person past their pain. So all that background information, the person may not realize they are a certain way until that's brought to the surface and
Mm-hmm.
dealing with that. You can
Mm-hmm.
support a person in dealing with their pain and
Correct.
injuries of things of the age, but you can't make them get over that type of thing. That's something that person is going to have to deal with square with one on one. And the other thing about that is too, in dealing with that, they may have to deal with that in multiple instances in life. So
Yes.
something that happened in childhood may creep up again in their 20s, may creep up again in their 40s,
Yeah.
and to where they have to go back, revisit, and deal with that because something else got triggered. And that happens,
Yes.
um, and not necessarily to everybody, but that's a possibility that happens. I think younger people are just so unaware of themselves that handling that takes a different type of maturity level. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times handling that early on can cause a maturity level to kick in,
Yes.
take you to another level of maturity. What happens with a lot of people is that they never develop the maturity to handle those kinds of instances,
Yeah.
and and trying to will it and trying to uh, make it your mission to do to make sure that that person is going to get over this thing. Yeah, you 9 times out of 10 you're going to lose. I
Mm.
did. I've been there. And Billy Carson said the same thing. He was like,
He
"Yeah, we both tried it. It didn't work."
Yeah,
And
he did
I
say
don't
that.
know anybody that has that strategy has worked for. Yet we do it out of empathy,
Hmm.
right? Do it out
Right.
of empathy. You don't want to see that person hurt like that. You don't want to see that person going through those kind of changes.
Yeah.
When people are in pain and knowing the backside of their story, right?
Mm-hmm.
The empathy part wants to kick in and be there for them and love them past their pain.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't receive proper therapy and have proper steps to move forward, nothing you do is going to change that outcome.
You're right.
Been there, done that. Not gonna work. Gonna
Yeah.
fuck who you are. Ain't gonna work.
You're right.
Right. Me going through my own kind of life changes like that, I knew, and there was plenty of people ready to help me to try to get over the thing, right? To try to move forward and this, that, and the other. And I would tell them all the time, there's absolutely nothing you can do. This is gonna be a shit show. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a shit show. It's going, and if you don't stick around, I don't blame you because it's gonna be a shit show.
Yeah.
But it has to happen.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
no avoiding it on my part. However long it took, I knew that it was going to get worse before it got better, and
Yeah.
I had to go through it. There was absolutely nothing nobody could do. And sure
Right.
enough, I was correct. But in that, and I was thinking about this today with that thing, the main factors was when I was conscious about what was going on, I was realistic about not going to be overnight,
Right.
right? I knew the worst was ahead,
Yeah.
but I also knew that through it all, my personality and the type of person I am, I will prevail,
Okay.
right? And that was kind of my formula for successfully overcoming the whole situation as a
Mhm.
whole. Did it look pretty? Nope. Was it fucked up? Yep. And there's still residual effects of behind it, but they get cleaned up as I get to them.
Right.
I'm steady. Just okay. Those are just maintenance things. I'm okay. All right. Yeah, that was fucked up. Yeah. Okay. So I'm still playing cleanup on it, but the bulk of it is behind me, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole point of it. So not many people are self-aware like that.
Mm-hmm.
They can only see it for why is me and get jammed, and that's it.
Yeah.
They can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't have the faith in themselves to move forward, and that's really when you need help. Yeah, I went to therapy for the thing too, and I think I fucked the therapist up. The dude was looking at me like, okay. uh, I don't think he knew where to fucking start.
Mm-mm.
you know, but again, the therapist became just a sounding board, really. I knew I would figure it out,
Right.
right? It was just a matter of me composing myself and getting my shit together, right? The therapy
Yeah.
part of it was just another sounding board on the outside of someone that was not involved in any shape or form other than I made an appointment,
Right.
But I know I fucked him up.
Poor guy.
Hey, hey, and I'm not saying that this is the reason, but what it's funny that I saw this cat like twice,
Uh-huh.
and then I was like, okay, cool. But um before I left Tennessee, I just wanted to check and see if he still worked there because I was gonna go by and shake his hand when I was leaving. Hey, thank you. Dude, never he didn't work there no more.
You you made him quit and start seeing a therapist himself, huh? Watch yourself. Do not go into therapy.
I'm not fucking with that motherfucker no more. Matter of fact, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Right.
So that was what I heard in the second part of it that
Okay.
stood out to me. Some people can be energy vampires.
Yes.
She talked
Yes.
about that, and she
She did.
said you can either be a greenhouse or a desert. And he talked about the relationship causing sickness, which is also true,
Mm-hmm.
to the point to where his mother died, and
Yes.
he was in a bad relationship, and he saw her in a vision saying, get
Mm,
out of that relationship because you're going to end up like me. you know
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and bad relationships drain your energy.
Y-
And we have all
Yeah.
had them to where because it becomes so taxing just dealing with this other motherfucker. And he was talking about how he dreaded going home. He found every excuse to not go. Been there. Been there. So anybody can see themselves in their shoes, male or female.
Mm-hmm.
you know that's
Mm-hmm.
why a person can be working a ton of hours and this, that, because they just don't want to go home. They don't want to
Yeah.
admit it. Oh no, I'm just a hard worker, an overachiever, and all that. But bullshit, you don't want to take your ass home. Right.
Yeah.
And that too is a thing of, again, you don't want to face the issues that are going on in your relationship.
Right.
The motherfucker sleep by the time you get home. You ain't got to hear that shit. It, you know, you ain't got to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I know how that goes. I
right?
know how
So,
that goes. Because I never left home, but I played sleep quite a bit.
right. So there's a lot of what she's saying
Mm-hmm.
in the podcast
Mm-hmm.
that could relate one side or the other, especially seeing how sensitive men are these days.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's just because of how society raised men these days to be so sensitive. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that's a different type of argument.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, some of those things can go both ways. Now she was speaking specifically to women. It reminds me of the talk that we had last week,
Mm-hmm.
where we were saying who's the priority in the relationship,
Right.
right?
Right.
And we got into some of that talk. Reminded me of what she was saying.
Yes. Yes. I caught that part too. Where she talked about how um we are the priority, but we also have to make him a priority and treat him like the man that he is, and know that, because when she said it, and we I kind of talked to you about it, like how she talked about, regardless of what type of man he is, he's still the man of the house. He's still the head of the household. So as well as he's showing us that we are priority, we have to make him and show him that he's also a priority to us. So it's like, it's not, I almost took it as if it's not just one person that's a priority, because the same way you have me as a priority, I have to also let you know that you are a priority. So neither there's no, I'm not trying to do a tit for tat or even trying to make it even. It's just I have to show my appreciation in other things to let you know that you are a priority. So I was like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
it
not just,
it
go ahead.
becomes a thing of everybody understanding of where you are in life,
Mm-hmm.
where you're trying to go as a couple,
Yes.
and having an appreciation for what each person is doing to make the relationship go.
Yes.
So where you don't have to do what I do and I don't have to do what you do, but I can
Right.
appreciate what you're doing to make the thing go. And I think a lot of relationships lose that appreciation for what that person does to make the thing goes. And therefore it's taken for granted,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you get dollar amounts that come into play
Mm-hmm.
and people's ego get to the point of where they are bigger than what's going on at home,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about LeBron James was talking about eventually when he retires,
Mm-hmm.
right? He has to shift his focus to now supporting his wife in a different role
Yeah.
because she has allowed him to do the things that he does selfishly
Yes.
so that he can become LeBron James, the basketball superstar,
Exactly.
right? And so
Yes.
he says now when he retires, that shift is going to his wife so that
Mm-hmm.
now she can go and do her thing and this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, touche, my man. See,
Now
he has
see,
an appreciation for
yes.
knowing what she has done in that household. No, she wasn't making the millions, but he wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have been able to be on the court and selfishly practicing and doing this, that, and the other to make the millions and keep that household running.
Right. And it's funny that you say that because I was just sitting here also thinking about how she said that you how you supposed to have your man's back and show him support in what he's doing. And she said she may think most men like to know that when they woman said, I got your back, they can really say that and believe that, yeah, she got my back. Whatever I'm doing, she has my back with no doubt in their mind. She said she really feel a man feels good when he can say, she got my back. And no, that's like I have always told you from day one, I'll always have your back, regardless if we had got into this relationship or not. I told you I will always be here and have your back because we started off as friends. So with that, I told you, if you ever need me, I will be here. If you whatever, I will always have your back. Not knowing we was gonna end up in a relationship, I was hoping, but
In the relationship realm like that, it shouldn't be a question.
it
Um,
shouldn't be.
and she was talking about how some relationships it's more like a competition of things. You
Yep.
know, all of that just comes from the the way the world is geared towards you always having to be in competition with people. And the other part of that is that people are not self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy for people to pick up personas, pick up into being in the things and lose themselves in that, and they think that that is the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you hear people say stupid shit like they had 20 relationships and uh, the person is blaming all 20 of the other people, but
Right.
not looking at themselves.
The common denominator.
Right. Well, well, that person wasn't woman enough, or that person wasn't man enough, or this, that, and the other. Maybe not. Maybe you was on some stupid shit that they didn't want to be part of.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you see that as a sign of weakness, and I see it as a sign of, no, I'm getting the fuck out of here because you on that bullshit. There's a lot of people that have a delusional view of themselves. You should be coming across as being supportive, but
Mm-hmm.
yet having that person look out for pitfalls. So whenever me and one of my homies, whenever we communicate about doing something,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not telling them to do something or not to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just giving them my view of what the potential pitfalls doing. Because they've already made it in their mind that they're going to do X, Y, and Z,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Okay. Have you thought about this, that, and the other? Or, I see this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. I wish you luck. You're still my dog. I wish you luck. Whether or not, whether I, and I just went through this, whether or not I would do that or not is irrelevant.
Exactly.
That's not what the person called me and asked me. That's not, you know, if I got an idea and I'm throwing it past you, I'll ask you directly, do you see yourself doing something like this? Or I'm looking for a go or no go.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm looking for pitfalls
Mm-hmm.
because the shit is already a go.
Right. Right. And I'm just running this by you so you can help me see if I'm missing something
Missing
that
something.
you
Right,
may see something that
right,
I don't see and like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Okay, that's a good idea. Or,
right,
okay, I got you on that. Because like
right,
you say, it's already a goal, but I'm just talking it through with you again to see if I'm missing anything.
right. And if it's something that's detrimental to the household that you think is going to be detrimental to the household, that's your opportunity to bring that up. Hey,
Correct.
wait a minute. You're missing this part here. Oh, and I'm supposed to recognize that, Oh,
Yes.
wait a minute, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So and that's all part of the effective communication, the the knowing your partner and how they think and kind of, you know, not being bothered by, okay, I know this person's got to go out and do this thing and blah blah blah, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that, it
Yes.
becomes important to
Yeah.
really understand that, you know. But like
Mm-hmm.
I said, he has an appreciation for what his wife has given up for
Mm-hmm.
him to be who he is. And when
Mm-hmm.
he retires, he's going to make sure now she gets to explore more of what it is that she needs.
Right.
The way it should
Right.
be.
So, like she talked about how you pour into your man, but you don't pour into yourself. So now she done poured into him so much and let him go and become this LeBron James of who he is. And so now, once he retired, that's her chance to pour back into herself, figure out what it is she's good at or whatever, because she put him in the family first, so now it's her time. And not
Right.
saying that she hasn't done it, she may have done it quietly, but now it's just his turn to pour into her.
Your ego, especially when you are in a spot like that,
Mm-hmm.
a person's ego can get away from them. Right. And therefore they think they're more than what the relationship is. And there's several stars that have kind of indicated that that's where they made their mistake at, and
Well,
they
you have
realize it in hindsight. Fuck that up. you know,
well,
uh,
in that case, you got the little people that do that. Their ego take over
yeah.
like that. So,
Oh yeah. Well, that comes with the pea brain syndrome. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
males are raised with that sense, and that comes with the pea brain syndrome. And
Mm-hmm.
now with the empowerment of women, in the workplace and in making their own money and things of that nature, right? They
Right.
get their own sense of pea brain syndrome, and do
Hmm.
the same thing.
I'm gonna go back to where just for a second, where you talked about how he said his mother came to him about get out of it now before you end up like me. And he made this statement. He's like, a dis-ease will turn into a disease, and the disease will have you pushing up daisies. And I was like, I pondered on that for a minute, and I was like, nah, that was something to think about. Because when you think about it, when you in a toxic relationship, no matter what kind it is, a relationship, a friendship, a family ship, when it's uneasy, that does cause you a disease. And when you internalize all of that, that's when you get those uncurable disease. Because he said his mother died with, I think, some kind of neurology.
Neurological.
There you go, neurological. And that's how she passed away. And I was like, and I think he said she was only like 62. So I'm like, man, that's where we used to think that was old. That was still kind of young. So
Yeah.
I'm
Um, you can be in a situation where it's so toxic to where things of sickness, you're looking for answers of things of what's causing a sickness or ailment or things. And really, you needed to start with the relationship and not medical. Why is your blood pressure high? How's your relationship? No, what
you
did you know? You know what I'm saying?
you know, it's I'm not laughing, but I thought about it because it was a while back, and my doctor did ask me that because I was having really bad headaches, and she's like, "Okay, so tell me what's going on in your life. What are you dealing with?" I said, "I work. I'm in a relationship, and I'm a union steward." She's like, "Okay, so one of them is causing these migraines. You need to figure out which one you need to let go." I kept my job. I kept my union stewardship.
Right.
Relationship had to go because it was causing me sickness. And I mean, I was literally waking up every morning with a headache. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And it was
Yeah.
one of those ones where you say it's like just to see their name on your phone or a text message, you just get that instant irritation, like, oh, ugh,
Yeah. And
I got you, babe.
well, you can get people that will point the finger of no, you're the cause of my disease. No, you're the cause of my motherfucking disease. You know, and
Hmm.
you can get into those arguments with people too, but that just goes to show you how toxic the relationship is and how far apart you really are.
Hmm.
And this is what I had to realize. Regardless of how much time you've been in that thing, the
Hmm.
shit just ain't fucking working.
Right.
No,
Right.
and there ain't nothing. And when no sides are making any inroads to making this shit go,
Hmm. Hmm.
that's a wrap. It's
That's
a
true.
fucking wrap. You know,
Yeah.
it's fucked up as it may be, seem this, that, and the other, how much time you got in and all that other, that's a motherfucking wrap. Because
Yeah.
neither side is conceding or neither side is meeting one way or another. That's a
Yeah.
motherfucking wrap. But a
Yeah.
lot of people get caught up into this thing of of how much they have invested into the relationship, and
Yeah.
they just don't want to throw it away. You're not throwing it away. It
Yeah.
was a time frame. It happened. There was good times. There were bad times. But right, it's not working no more. It's time to move on.
It's
At
done
some
ran its
point,
course.
it's ran its course, and
Hmm.
and a lot of people can't get over that point of shit just running its course, and it's time to move on.
Hmm.
Without it, you get these long-term things that just not working and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that again causes the disease, that causes the chronic illnesses, all kinds of goofy shit going on that really you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to go down
Right.
that road.
Right. Doctor throw you on all kind of medication and ain't none of the
Mm-hmm.
medication working. Once you get out
Mm-hmm.
that situation, it's like, oh, I'm good. I don't need this no more.
One thing she did talk about is, I think he asked the expectations of what a good man is.
It was, what is women unrealistic expectations of a good man? One thing she said was, all men want is sex, and that's not true. She
Right.
said it's deeper than that for men. They want loyalty, commitment, um, and she named off some more stuff, but she said sex is not what they really want. Do they enjoy it? Yeah, but that's not. It's more to it than just that. I was like, okay.
Well, they talked about too what you bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
If you're bringing it to the table that way, of course, dude is going to take
Yeah,
it and
that's
be
all you
all
got. That's all
engaged in
you
it.
offering.
If that's is that that's what, if you bring it to the table, we fucking, then the guy's gonna go along with it, right?
Right, right.
If you're bringing to the table more than that, the guy's going to pay attention to that. But now, is and he said this: most men just want peace, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And for the guys that I know that have been divorced and whatnot, older, of course,
Mm-hmm.
peace is what they want. When I was younger, peace was not necessarily the forefront of things, only because I was in a working building mode. So
Yeah.
peace was not necessarily the equation I was looking for, because I'm working, building, I'm moving, I'm shaking. I need
Mm-hmm.
these things held down over here, the household, making sure things go so I can make things go. Right.
Right,
Those were the
right.
priorities. But now, being in the state of mind that I am now, peace is golden, especially when you go through a period of dis-ease and a period of turbulence with a relationship and things of that nature. Peace becomes golden. So the guys I know that got divorced later on in life, right,
Mm-hmm.
after long-standing marriages and stuff like that, peace is number one on the list. I just want some fucking peace.
I'm your
you know,
piece. I'll be your piece.
well, and again, hence the title of the podcast, Her Love His
Exactly.
Peace, right? So
Exactly.
it be they talked about that, as far as the other thing about expectations is what a person, to me, is really what a person is realistically capable of.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if a person doesn't believe that they can move mountains, and you're trying to say, yeah, you can move mountains, this, that, and the other. I get being supportive,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't believe it,
Right.
right? It'd
Right.
be different things if they believe I can move mountains, and then you're saying, yeah, you can move mountains. That's a
Yeah.
whole nother scenario.
It is. It is.
And I think there's a lot of unrealistic expectations. I know a few people who have very unrealistic expectations in their relationships like that, especially younger, you know. Um, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And now that you went back to that, there was a part where she did say you can't ask for something that you can't give yourself. So it's like, don't don't I can't ask you for something to give to me that I can't even give to you.
Sure.
So, and she used the example of, I can't ask you to be emotional if I can't even be emotional. So I was like, okay, I guess. But you do have that where a lot of people, and I would say this go for male and female. They ask you, oh, I want you to, can you be loyal? Can you be, the one thing she mentioned was the word submissive. And you hear all this time, oh, I just want a woman that's going to submit to me. She said, but some men fail to realize that there are some men that are submissive also. But you always have this one person, or they always, well, can you be submissive or can you submit to me? Well, can you submit? Can you, and it's crazy when I hear it. Well, men don't submit. Yeah, you do in more ways than one. You just may not think you're submitting, but you are. And to me, submitting is, it's a give and take. It's not a, I gotta match whatever you doing. So it's like, if you, if you're making, just say you the breadwinner, if you making $100,000, oh, I gotta go get a job so I can make 100,000 too. We don't have to be equal in what we're doing. I do whatever is needed for you, whatever I need to do to make life easier for you. That's where find myself being submissive. It's like, I want to make anything in life easy as possible for you. Whatever it is I need to do, I'm trying to do it because, like you say, number one thing is peace. I want to try to keep peace in your life so you will be here long time, little longer than what's expected in life, so we can enjoy life. That's all I want. But you have a lot of people that don't look at life like that.
Well, and that's part of being self-aware. The thing about being submissive, people get caught up on the verbiage versus the action.
Exactly.
There's the verbiage of being submissive and what they visualize what that is, and they automatically reject that because of what the verbiage of it, the connotation of what the verbiage, you're being submissive or
Mm-hmm.
submit to me, right?
Oh
When
yeah.
I'm saying it like that, right, you
Right.
automatically are going to reject against the verbiage of it. When
Exactly.
you look at the action of being submissive, right, it's a
Mm-hmm.
totally different thing. It doesn't even look amplified like I just talked about, right?
Right.
It
Right.
could be the littlest things in life that makes that relationship goes on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
because it's not verbalized that way, right? If a
Right.
man caters to his woman, that's being submissive.
Correct.
But we called it catering.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Why?
Yeah.
We put a different spin on it. It's a different connotation.
It sounds
But that's
sounds
really what
better.
it sounds better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how psychologically the culture has put the word submissive in a negative type of connotation. So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
we have to spin it a little bit to soften the blow for the male ego. The same fucking thing.
Yeah, it is.
You're catering. Okay. What does your catering involve? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So now
Yeah.
when you talk about the action, what does your catering involve? And
Mm-hmm.
when they think about it, you'll come right back to the same fucking thing as being submissive. So get the fuck out of here. But that's how fucked up we are as human beings. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how far removed we are from knowing our own selves,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how stuck we get on words
Mm-hmm.
and not looking at actions.
She
Right.
talked about how can you rebuild respect once it's been damaged? Is you do the work, you apologize, and you be accountable for your own self. So it's like, I guess if you say something do something, you got to put the work in and show them that start instead of negative comments or negative communication, you turn it around and give them positivity. Because the worst thing, you know, that's the one thing my grandma always told me. She always referred to the Bible. I don't know exactly, I can't remember right off the top of my head where it's at. Oh, it's where a wise woman will build a house, a foolish woman will tear a house down. So with me, and now as I get older, I take that as a foolish woman is always doing stuff to tear you down instead of, but then you got the wise woman who always builds you up. So if you feel you can move a mountain, hey, yes, you can move that mountain. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm behind you. You could do it. You could do it. That's, you know, I don't know how she got respect out of that, but it's like, okay, maybe I put my own little spin on it, but that's how I look at it. I don't
The
know
thing
how.
about that, I think the thing about that is she talked about accountability and holding women accountable to,
Yeah,
because remember the title is why modern day women are losing good men.
yes,
So she came around to holding them accountable and that they didn't want to be held accountable.
that,
And if you looked at some of the things that she was talking about some of the old school concepts of how you raise a woman,
yes,
right?
yes,
And the basic premise of it is that women have moved away, modern women have moved away from the old school concept of raising a woman.
yes,
And that in itself, you lose respect for your mate. Therefore, modern day women are losing their men because they've moved away from this ideal of what a woman is supposed to be,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
And
Yes,
then they're raising their daughters to not take no shit from a man, that type of situation,
yes,
right?
yes.
That was kind of the basis premise of her thing. And then she's saying she's holding them accountable to that fact because you moved away from this type of idea or this type
Mm-hmm.
of mindset and raising, you're having all these problems.
Yeah, and I can see what you're talking
You know,
about. Whereas and that is how a lot of these newer generations is being raised. Okay, no man tell me what to do, or I don't need no man. I'm an independent woman. And where she stated, you can be an independent woman, but there's something in life you need a man. Or even if you feel you don't need a man, you may want a man. But no, you need a man. Because I mean,
they people have fallen into this trap with the rise of social media, uh, all the self-help books and all this,
mm-hmm,
these proliferation of information. They've fallen into this male versus female fight, right?
yes, yes,
And people who get into these things, you're not going to win
yeah,
because you're too busy fighting,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Those ladies have moved away from those ideas, and those men have used those excuses to be pea brains.
Okay.
You see how it works?
Yeah.
So then they go back into this thing, and I see it all the time. You'll get male in this show, females on the same show, and they're going back. Well, women do this, or men do that, and women do this, and men do that. Well, if you do this, all that's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
All you motherfuckers go away and be lonely because you're not looking for solutions. You're
Yeah.
looking to keep the bullshit going. You're
Yeah.
looking to have excuses on why you're a non-accountable, lousy man. You're looking
Mhm.
for excuses of why you can be a loudmouth, downgrading dude woman. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Those
Yeah.
are all excuses to keep the bullshit going,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
unfortunately, those shows are what's popular on TV. We call it reality TV.
Which I don't even like watching. It's like because we know, even though they say it's reality, we know it's still scripted. Because it's like, y'all stop. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
be, I mean, because when you sit there and listen to what they arguing about or whatever, it's like, for real, for real. Okay, stop. It's, I can't get into reality.
Well,
I
and,
can't.
and it's the proliferation of those things that add fuel to this male female modern male female relationship divide. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the modern relationship is is different than the
Mm-hmm.
relationships of old, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with it being different. Everything needs to evolve. What
Right.
I have a problem with is this male female pea brain fight over which over what each sector is not doing for the other one, and therefore they all a bunch of miserable motherfuckers. You know, the fuck
Yeah.
out of here. Leave us real motherfuckers alone. Gone with that bullshit.
Right.
No, my man said, miss me with that bullshit.
I can agree with that one.
No,
Yeah.
and there's a thing too with relationships and synchronicity,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a. I hate this phrase. Oh, y'all look good together. I don't give a fuck how good we look together. Are we in sync?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do we have the right energy and chemistry together? Not from
Right.
what everybody else sees or
Exactly.
thinks they
Mm.
see.
Right.
What do we see?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Are we really in sync like that? Are we really grooving like that? Right?
Yeah.
And you may not think about that when, and I always use a younger mindset versus an older mindset, right?
Okay.
With the idea, I know it's not always correct, but with the
Mm-hmm.
idea that when you get older, you should have a more refined thought process as to what you need, what kind of energy you bring into it, and is that energy right for what's going on with you at that time in your relationship.
Yes.
I've had many instances to where eh, it was just a fun time.
Yeah.
When you really sat back and look at the energy flow, it wasn't there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'd be
I
like,
can agree with you on that. Yeah.
yeah, and it takes you to get into things to figure out, it ain't there. But when you realize it ain't there, it ain't there.
It ain't there, and ain't nothing you could
Regardless
do
of how
make it
much
be
you
there.
exactly, no
Yeah.
matter how bad you want it, to it ain't there.
It ain't there.
You know,
And
and a lot of
really,
people force it, which is a tragic mistake.
it is.
But it ain't there. The energy flow ain't there. The synchronicity ain't there. It ain't there.
It ain't.
It just now it takes some people longer than others to figure it out, but it ain't there.
Nope. It just nope.
They look
Yeah.
good together. Oh, look at that. That's some old high school shit.
And when people say that you look good together, I'm still curious. Well, what do you mean we look good together? He not ugly. I'm not ugly. Okay, okay. So we do look good together. But what does that mean?
I think it's just an overused type of connotation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I understand people are wanting to say something nice,
Mm-hmm.
and so now that becomes the catchphrase. Oh, you look good together. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. How about, hey, I'm happy for you guys.
Yeah.
And keep it moving. Y'all in it?
That's
Okay, I'm happy for you guys.
See, so what if we didn't look good together? That's just like looking at a
Right.
baby. A baby is not cute. What do you say? Oh, that's an ugly baby. No, you like, oh, look at the baby. That's all you say. Look at the
Now you do like
baby.
grandma, oh bless his heart.
I know. They so precious.
They're so precious. Oh, bless his heart.
Or you start
Oh, ugly ass
complimenting.
baby.
Mhm. Right. You start complimenting. Oh, look at the little outfit.
Right.
Like, stop. Go tell them that baby is not cute. All babies are cute. Bless their heart. Exactly. See? Her Love, His Peace would like to thank you for joining us on another episode. We look forward to reading your comments, your thoughts on what we've discussed here. We appreciate all the likes, the comments, the subscribes, and the shares that you do. And as always, come back and join us again. Thank you.